I guess I have a certain color palette. I love blues and various shades of greens and violets and purples, and it's really what I feel works, you know, at the time I'm doing the painting. I don't usually have, maybe in this case, you know, I did the hand first, and so basically the way my process works in this case, I know I wanted to do a skeleton hand, and then everything kind of came from that idea, or I worked around that idea. I didn't know everything. I didn't know I was going to do a skull, so I did this hand, and I started looking at what I want to do. Maybe I knew I wanted to do this guy, but then everything else came later, like I said, the skull, the flower dripping. I use question marks. I think I mentioned that in my house. That's part of my that's part of my iconography is question marks. I like guys with their tongue sticking out. The question mark is, I don't know, maybe it's a question about life. Like, I don't personally have all the answers. I don't think anyone else does either, and I just like the way they look, and I like incorporating them into my work. And I like skeletons, and who knows, could represent death. You see, these are basically fangs. So, I mean, you know, again, I don't necessarily need to break down my work. People are going to make out of it what they will. And I'd be interested, if I didn't tell anyone, you know, if you asked 5 people what they think of this work, just to get the, who knows what they would say. But I'm sure there'd be some interesting responses. Good morning. Yeah. Ready? All right. So sometimes I like to put them up high and keep the riff-raff away. Yep. So, yep. Get the dust off. Make sure it's nice and smooth as can be. Get that. That's it. How I saw some of my ayahuasca ceremonies and what went down. Light and dark. Good and bad. Yin and yang. But there's the love. There's your heart. That's it. So I was talking about one of the things I really appreciate about being part of the street art scene and the artists I've befriended and that have befriended me is I just really think there's a really good exchange of energy between the artists. I feel like it's a really give and take thing. Like, people ask my opinion, and I'm happy to give it to them. Or people that have been in this game a lot longer than me have given me ideas as far as painting on walls or things I could add to my canvases or just ways to improve my artwork or ways to get it out there. And they didn't have to do that for me. So I really feel blessed and thankful and a lot of gratitude to be a part of this whole scene. I feel like, again, as we were talking, you know, going from the Amazon back to this, you know, the concrete jungle, I feel like I found my tribe again. And I have a lot of gratitude and see the shaman again, the drops. Fish bones, vine, the heart, the snake. There's the skull. I think everyone's crazy. I got my own theory. I think we live in an insane world, and it's hard not to, if you really think about what's going on in the world and have any kind of empathy. I don't know. It's hard, and I don't know. Like I said, I think we live in an insane world. So on some level, we all have a little craziness within us. And I'm not afraid to express it. I watched this like a 15-minute. He did a video I don't know 5-6 years ago. It's on YouTube somewhere, so I watched it. I mean, I get his viewpoint. He grew up there, right? It was a shitty neighborhood, whatever. And then all of a sudden, I don't really have an issue with him. He's kind of a legend. He was kind of a legend. You know what I'm saying? And if that's what Zexor, and he was a huge dude too. So if that's what Zexor wanted to do,
literally larger than life.
Yeah. Who am I to say no? I mean, so as far as, you know, as far as my perspective, and I'm sure there's artists, you know, there's been people that have been in the game a lot longer than me, and that they may have a different perspective. But I grew up in New York, so I've seen graffiti and the subway cars and all that stuff for a long time. So I've been able to witness the scene and, you know, just what's going on in the street art world and how it's changed. But in my opinion, I feel like we're in the golden art of street age. That's as far as it seems like a lot more people have appreciation for what's going on. There's a lot of great artists getting up out there, from like really talented graffiti artists, that concentrate on lettering and things like that, to muralists. Now, however you want to define street art, that's not really up to me. I consider myself a street art because I do my art and I put it out in the street, via wheat paste or stickers. Sometimes I get to do a mural or whatever, but it really depends on who you ask. But in my opinion, for my money, my 2 cents is that I feel like this is a really great time to be a street artist. It's going on around the world. It's super popular, and I think people really have an appreciation for it now. Even up to the point where it's being co-opted and people are using it, for commercial reasons and things like that. Stealing from the artists, what a surprise. That happens. But I think it's a great time to be putting your art. I think it's a great time to be putting your art out on the street. I just think it's a fantastic time and people appreciate it, and there's just a lot of great art out there. Very inspiring. That's a drawing of my friend Steve Stoppert, Amart Stop, that I did. Forth from there. Show you one more. And yeah, I guess I like skeletons and skulls and the brain, the mind and the heart, and the whole combination of everything. Oh, I got to show you one other thing. This is kind of autobiographical. There, I said it. That's the shaman, the heart again. Like you can see, there's certain themes and things that the crown. This is kind of a ode to New York City. NYC rules. I shot these at like whatever high enough resolution so that I can make prints like this, like 300 DPI or something like that. Yeah, or RAW. I shoot in RAW a lot, and you can pretty much blow it up. And it's weird because even on my computer, there's a reason for this. It's with my Fuji. It says 72, but the way and you're not losing anything. You can still blow it up because it's on RAW. You're not losing anything. It's fine for print, absolutely. But anyway, you ready? And I'll. So yeah, so this is just. Oh, sure. You tell me. But these are the some of the artists that inspired me, and like I said, I mean, when I'm talking about the golden age of street art, I mean, I don't know, this stuff's fantastic to me. Denton Borrows, one of my personal favorites. Lady Pink. Look at that. I mean, that's some deep stuff. That's in Williamsburg someplace. The Beastie Boys. Just, that's on the Lower East Side someplace. I think that's Tats Crew, maybe? I don't know, but sorry if I got any wrong. Prince. This is in Barcelona, actually. So no one would give a shit. There's Atomico. Crash. But I love all the different kind of styles, and I mean, this is, tremendous artistry. And this stuff, some people don't realize it takes years to get, it takes years to get good at some of this stuff. But just all the unique styles and everything is really cool. And then, this is what I was talking about, the different cultures and subcultures. Some, taggers, they can't stand, the mural. They just look at them as interlopers or outsiders, and I understand that. And this is how they express their feelings about it, is they just tag, they just tag right over it. That's the way it goes. Shiro, she's great. I've always liked this guy. He's gone, but that's from Bushwick. Good and Shitty. That's the name of that dude. I love Phetus 88. And there's, what's his name? Buff Monster. Buff Monster. Phetus 88. Hound Nazem. That's the dude that I saw in Red Hook. That I said, the first guy I spoke to. Esteban Del Valle. Said it. That's in Barcelona. Findek.
Findek was in our second photo about that piece.
That's somewhere in Barcelona, Poblasek. That's where I painted my wall. Dirk, my boy is Dirk. There's.
I can only show the top ones because the bottom ones.
Oh yeah, no worries. That's also from Barcelona. Nope, Valencia. My bad. That's from Valencia.
Nice.
That's from Queens. That's pretty much it. But yeah, so this is the wall that Steve let me do. That's where I met you last summer. Like I think it was August, whatever. But I just knocked it out. I don't know, 8, 9 hours, whatever. A lot of pressure for me because I don't paint all the time. So it's like I might go 3 months with not painting, and then I got a wall, and it takes me like a good half hour, 45 minutes till I feel comfortable and you know, just lose that self-consciousness and just get into what I'm doing. It's up to you. If you guys want me wheat pasting in the alley or whatever, I could put up a few.
Yeah.
You know? So this is one of my newer paintings. The idea started just with a skeletal hand, and then everything kind of comes forth from that, like the skeleton crying or tears or sweating or however you want to look at it, the question marks, the flower. Anyway, everything comes from one idea and image, and then I work around that, the shaman. So this is basically based on one of my ceremonies. That's pretty much it. So this is going here. So I've been doing these just for fun, like these kind of like based on baseball cards, collect them and trade them, but I've been doing these so-called, you know, cards, for lack of a better term, of different artists that were willing to play along with my silliness. So this is a Ratanic who gets up a lot, a friend of mine, and he was down with it, and this is what we came up with. And you know, it's mostly his stuff, but you see a lot of you see my face, that's an actual wheat paste below his. And then that's just, I did that in Photoshop, but that's, you know, based on my sticker, whatnot. I look at it as beautifying. I'm putting up art for people to enjoy. I think it adds to the character of a city like New York City, you know, one of, to me, the greatest city in the world. But this, if you didn't have this stuff out on the street, I think it would just be too sterile and a lot less appealing. So I just, from my opinion, I've always appreciated, from a kid, I grew up in New York City, I've always had appreciation for good graffiti. I was always, you know, when I used to go every now and then to a Yankee game in the Bronx when I was a kid, and this is back in like the 70s and 80s when New York was a lot rougher, but you see the trains covered. I had an appreciation for that stuff. I was just amazed, like, who did this and how did they do this? It's fantastic. So to me, it just adds to the culture and adds to what a city can be. Splat. We don't play. Uh-oh. Sometimes I like to make them pop a little bit more. So, but that's that. But yeah, no, obviously you were prepared. I didn't even know you watched the film and everything, and so
Yeah.
good on you for doing
you.
your homework and everything like that. I mean, I come from that. Like, I've worked with some of the best of the best. Like, I worked with Diane Sawyer and all those people back in the. I worked with top end newscasters, investigative journalists.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
so I know how they go about, like, you know, doing your homework.
Research, yep.
You know what that is, right?
Oh, that's
So I did these for my illustration. I took a course at SVA like 2 years ago in the winter. This is my style. We're doing, and this is based on the Beatles. I threw in the Yellow Submarine, but it's based on the song My Octopus's Garden. So I did that, and then just this goofy little thing, a picture I found somewhere. So not really my style, but you know, interesting, and with a paintbrush, which I use a little bit, but not too much. But I said about, you know, there's also love represented. The heart represents love. You know, and that's kind of what I learned in the jungle is everything. The most important, the most powerful thing in your life is love, and that's the space I try to come from when I do my art. Doesn't mean I'm not showing life and light and dark and all the good and bad and everything like that, but the point is to always go back to love and to just have that in your heart, and you'll be okay in the end. As far as my art, as far as the art I'm putting out on the street, if you want to follow me, and besides Instagram, Baston714, and I have a website, Baston714.com, if you want to check out my art. That's it. Peace.